Few weeks, I was deployed to Nyeri. And because I was already a deputy director, the name of PU had to change to become a PDE. 5 years there, back to Jogo House as a senior deputy director of education. Five years, is it five? 5 years later, the ministry, the position at the top was partitioned to 5. We applied, so there were 5 directors. I was appointed the director of basic education. You see, when I went to Jogo, the world was opened. I was taken to South America. And I visited all those countries except Brazil.
Why?
Because, you know, Brazil, they speak Portuguese. And the people who had given the military the opportunity wanted me to go and learn comparative education. Anyway, in short, in terms of traveling, on behalf of the Kenyan government, it's only Australia. I have never been to Australia and Brazil, and in Kenya, Mandela. In Africa, Botswana, and Angola. I'm not going there. The only thing I know about working for the government, the salaries are small, but the opportunities are many, very many. There's one thing I knew when we were applying for courses to go to the university. Education was nowhere. But then Kenyatta, our first founding father, wanted to chase Wazungus. And they were all in basically the sciences. So anybody doing well gets to education and the science. That's how I found myself. I wanted to become a forester, and it was very clear.
You see, when the boys are still struggling, they are afraid of speaking in vernacular. Except for Bonilla, the rest are from Central na yeye alisomea Thika yote, kwa hivyo atakiwa na. Lakini bado ameuzwa hiyo woga ya.
Yeah. Were you with Musyoka or Musyoka came later? There was a boy, not one, called Musyoka. Can I remember the other name? Yes. I remember Mukirai.
And Gojiri, Simon.
I remember Mr. Karaba once told Gojiri, you are either the head or I'm the head. I don't know what he had done. Exactly.
You know,
Before that, there were the Kihogas and
the problem is those boys, those who came from Thika town, had a lot of problems. They couldn't visualize why they are enclosed. Na nyumbani ni hapo. Anataka kula hapo.
No, hakumo.
Yeah. And he died. The father was such a nice teacher. Then Kakumo is here, George, every day. I called the father. It is either this or this. I will put him on day, not boarding. Go home with him for a week, talk to him. He came and reformed a few here and there. But Mokilai, I hear he is in the US. Or he has come back. He had strange buttocks that he did not cater for pain. Until I thought the best thing is let him go away. But on a second thought, I said, since I'm a father of sons, you never know. One can come and mess up like he has. But what I always thought is what I did in school. All my primary life, I never met with punishment, except one day in class 5. We were doing the geography of US, and there was a combined harvester to harvest the wheat. So a girl who was seated next to me, she was asked, what is a combined harvester? To cook. And the geography teacher, who was also the head, just told her to give him the back. We were all given 2 strokes on the back for a mistake of one person. So you will see a lot of things from your former classmates. And it is always good to keep relations cordial, like you have done. Life becomes very, very easy when you know 3/4 of your classmates. It will be very, very easy. Because I remember when we left the university, there is a gentleman called Cheriot. He was PS internal security, the most powerful PS even today. And we had never met after we left the university. We met in Kiambu when there was a Harambee presided over by Moi. And he's the one who introduced me to Moi. But very close. And Moi said, "Na anakuwa wapi?" Then he was told, "Na kwa nini usimlete?" And he actually took me there. Then the new Reting was the head of public service. And he was told, angalia pale, weka pahali. But then the thing told me, do you want to go to Chile? I said, no, I don't want to become an ambassador. And he had to ring the president, tell him, what we have right now is not his interest. Haya, pidua mafile, ukipata msuli, patia. So, there is nothing as important as those who went with you to school and you share up. You know, day boys and day girls, they miss a lot. You see, life in school is after 4. When you are going for mathematics, whatever it is, that's not life. But after 4, that is the life that will shape you to what you are going to be. And that is why people, without knowing, they fight for boarding schools. But I, for one, would prefer boarding at secondary level, not at primary level. That's too early to release your child. I would rather when a child is in Form 1, you take him or her to a boarding school, but not just a boarding school. It must be which one and what do you want to achieve. Because clubs meet after 4. And that is where now you build your talent. And you start learning to make choices. After all, life is not what you are or how you are, it is the choices you make that matter. Just like you sat down to decide which shirt to wear or what, that is choices. And when you are trying to make choices, then you must be properly informed so that you make the right choices. When we started, when I was posted to Thika High, the second in command in Kenya's intelligence service was a relative of my mother. And we met on the showing ground when we were being posted. And he said, I heard you at the university. Have you finished? I said, the Senate has passed us. Then we went, we boarded. I boarded his vehicle. I never knew what he does, but I knew he was senior in the police force. And we went, by then the intelligence service was, I don't remember the building, but it's a building so queer. It was on the university way. One side they were selling Mercedes, and the intelligence was up. And there was some shop of carpets. So he dropped me down there. I don't know how he went himself. But the next thing is somebody came for me. And it was the first, after the stairs, there was a big sign post which said, unless you are the Minister for Defense, don't go beyond this point. Then that is when he came and he collected me from there. Big office, no writing material, nothing. When he told me, if you would want, see, I'm from 4. I knew he was from 4 from Gizunguri. I would encourage you to join us. And you will join us at a very high level. Because most of these people have no basic secondary. Forget about anything. No basic secondary. And I told him, give me some time to go and think. I went and shared it with my mother. Because my father died when I was in Form 3. And I told my mother, it's a job opportunity, which is good, but I must first of all go to Kiganjo and train, get disciplined before anything else. You know, she was cooking ugali. She lifted the muiko to hate me, and she meant it. And she told me, how can you go get a degree and then be a policeman? Said no. And I didn't argue. Following day, Kamau came because he came from our place. And I told him, my mother said no. Full stop. And for some time we didn't talk. And you see, I had my posting letter in my pocket. I made a big choice. Taking my mother seriously and forget all the privileges I had been told. What I'm driving at is life is made of choices. You make the wrong choice, you see the consequences. And every choice has a consequence. And you make, I don't know what you will tell me later, what opportunities you have in terms of where are you placed.
Yes.
But I tell you, get as much, be as much informed. There is nothing called luck. What we call luck is a blessing. And so that as you make decisions, because I did make decisions many times. Some very crooked. Some I had to make it because that was the best at those moments. And I don't regret making decisions. There is only one that I regretted when I chased the people away to go for peace. And there was a boy, I think he was either from Gizongori, I can't exactly remember.
Chase people
Go for school.
For school fees. We are still on choices. Because every day you make a choice. I believe all of you, since none of you is a Roman Catholic, priest, our families, your family. When you make choices, when you do other things, you must remember there is that family. At the moment, you might not see how much they support you. They do support you. Because if they want to mess you up, they will mess you. My last born, the one who was dropped to me, is a mechatronic engineer in Mali. But he's not on employment. I have employed him. Because as I neared my retirement, and the pay slip reminds you that you have this number of years, I put up a tourist facility in Karaba. He's the one running it.
What is it called?
Remembering the name because we have changed it twice.
Okay. Okay.
First, it was a tourist resort. When Corona messed up and Wazungu stopped coming because I was not putting it up for Africans. It was not many who would buy tea, a cup, at 300. When they stopped, all tourism business went down. So we have now changed it to apartments. And that is what we now do. So I can't be there when it was apartments. He is running it. And I'm teaching him how to make decisions. And I have learned to support his decisions. And when he makes one wrong, I don't tell him wrong. I tell him, if it were me, I would have done it this way. So, yeah, no, the word wrong is never in my mind. It is, if I were you, I would do it this way. Yeah, and that is what I told one of your teachers. When he called a boy, this boy can't, his head is not for physics. And the boy came and told the teacher, and he may have failed in that paper, but he told me which part of your head yourself is physics. I have not insulted him, but he has learned. Because when you are in school, one of the greatest influence is your teacher. The teacher who taught me physics in Form 1, I didn't like him, and I hated the subject. But you had to do it Form 1 and Form 2. When we went to Form 3, as we were changing and making choices of what, another physics teacher, I remember his name always, Mentor, came to introduce the physics now as an examination subject. And he did it so well. So I loved it. So I'm still on the choices because we started discussions before. And in any case, Wanabongo, he didn't tell me he wanted to come and talk.
Well, let it be open.
Yeah.
Yes.
then I just decided, I was sharing with my wife. You know, she was a medic. Now she's also retired. We are together there. Many things together. You know, now we are only two. So only when he comes, he becomes my driver. She's medic. One of my sons is medic. I made a mistake of taking him to US, and he has decided to live there. But every year he comes once. So we have set up a medical business. And now we run what is called Thika Dialysis Center. Yeah, so that is our business. The hotel one is now Yota Species. It used to be Costa Hotel. Now it is Yota Species. So that is what keeps us going and busy. Of course, there is a pension. But that group that I saw last time, one of the boys had a very good idea. And he wanted to share it with Mwalimu. He has been given leadership by General Motors, spares and vehicles. He wanted me to be a party. And I didn't want to go to the bank again. So I told him, wait, once I get the amount, that will be okay. I'm trying to show you how you can relate and become what you never thought in the past place. Because the world is very, 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 I've said it very 3 times. It is very merciless. The world outside there, and since I believe most of you are still on duty, don't be blinded by the payslip. You receive payslip every month. Majority of you don't become a slave of the payslip. And there are 2 important things about the payslip. It is very regular. It doesn't matter how much, but it is regular. But down there, if you are in public service, it will be umri wako sasa ni. And let me tell you, you see the level at which I retired. After I went home, and I normally say, after I changed routine from waking up so early and going somewhere in a room, quite a number of telephones. Telephones ceased to come to my house. The first one to be switched off was the one from the government. The moment I left, that evening it was not working. Because I am no longer useful. The government can only use me less, but not improve. The word useful can either be useful in less, or useful in full, or not useful at all. So, that thing called payslip, it is one of the greatest enemies in life. I'm missing the right word to say retirement, because sometimes people retire and their minds also retire. It is you then tire, put on new tires to go on with the very business. So, I thought that is something we should share, because one day you will leave whatever you are doing. The 3 times I remember telephones were ringing any time is when I was in Nyeri. You know, in Nyeri, I never spent a night there. I didn't accept government housing. Then, when I went to Jogo House, I was given very sensitive areas. There were telephones all over. But all of those ceased, because I had to be used less, not in full. 80 now, it is very rare, except when they have a problem. They will remember that I was there. Come this, and that is the time I will say 1 hour, 20,000. You want to be for 1 hour, and you write the voucher alongside the invitation. So, that is one area that is very, very important to you. If you have not been thinking about it, think now. Especially those in the government. You can go home anytime. It's no longer permanent and pensionable. Yeah. Because even the pension, somebody will decide whether you get it or not. So that is good. Then the other thing, I used to make you laugh when I said there is nothing elephant except the elephant itself. Remember, that is a saying I used to say, and it is always very rooted. In my vocabulary, I don't have the word impossible. I even don't have the word difficult. Those are words that will make you lazy. I have words that there are alternatives to this one. So you must have an alternative. Then the other thing is, if you are parents, you have daughters and sons in school, remember, educating your daughter or your son is not an investment for yourself. No? How many times have you gone to sit down with your parents? What do you want to do then? It is you are investing in them so that they don't come to share the little you have with them. I know now I'm a grandfather, and even right now in my house, they have gone for after. There are 2 already there. And they come because they can eat. Not that they love me. No. Because there is something to eat. And whatever their parents have denied them,
They get.
they will get. They will see the TV anytime they want. They are there, they can't. So, if you want to become a liability your children is when you think they are an investment and you must get revenue from them. They don't even come to borrow. This is somebody earning of 100,000. And at the end of the month, Dad, did you have something small? I made a mistake somewhere. There's no mistake. It's only he wants to live the life he cannot sustain. So make sure that as retirement comes, you will earn the salary you are earning before the pension. That is one homework you have to do. So that, you know, when I was in the office, I was even brought some gazettes from outside our country to know something about education. So on top of the other three that you bring every morning, and I read. But the day I left, the following morning, we were not there. So I had to call from my, because I am used to getting news from the paper. So prepare yourself. I think that's the only word I would say. Prepare yourself daily to retire. Because you can become even useless by your wife. Forget about the children, the wife. If you become useless with your wife, then soon we shall see your photograph on the papers. Do you know what women say? She will not have white hair in your house. I don't know whether you have heard that. But that is what they say. So, na giugo guranie guthie no athie kwa muriu ni araciarirwo no athie kwa mwari nderigite ni araciarirwo no athie keca maita maingi no ndenda guikarania nawe. These are facts of life. Not iga matika sabu kanitha ati nie policy yakwa is go to church, come home, continue with our life. No timutungatiri yoke gwakwa umurugire itumbira ni ndunadugira. You see? And you know it happened. Yeah. So there is every limit. And remember, I am the president of this house. Don't forget to remind them that because of their activities they might forget. And it's always good to remind them. And that is how the family is.
Just continue.
So that is, you know, I'm going round from life on duty to life elsewhere. And the life I'm enjoying now, because I'm enjoying, because when I want a loan, it is processed very fast, because the manager here is an old boy of the high school. And I tend to think Nganga must have been of this class.
This hotel?
No,
No,
the bank.
The bank, yeah, KCB. He's Nganga. Okay. So anytime I go to the bank, everybody is Molim. Because of how the manager does it.
When did you leave the country?
91, I think.
No, 93. Left in 93, went to Jogo for 1 year, back to Central. So those are some of, because without an area, this is what I want us to share with. That is what I was coming thinking. Now, what do those boys want me to share with them? So I thought I should share working in life. And to remind you, unless you are a child, unless you are a seed, the Bible says you must work to it. You don't work, don't eat. That is not, those are not my words. It is the Bible. And the other thing to remember is not much you can share alone, make ends meet alone. Where you are working, there are people either above you or below you, or at parallel. Nikuyu kiugaga andu nio indo kana tigi. That's a very important to say. When you are working with people, remember what that one says. Wacoko ukerwo wahũna mũno ũhumbĩre kĩ na tia kuonia tu mekwambĩrĩria gũkwenja. And that's what I was telling the primary school teachers when money started being posted to the school. Angĩkorwo ũragũra thuti njerũ o mbeca cia tũmwo-rĩ, no ũngĩtĩkia ti ciwahũthĩra. So I hope you are getting the philosophy of what I'm trying to say. Now, the world I am now in, which you must prepare yourself to come in. And always remember, even when you are very strong, one day the energies will go. I used to say, when you become a member of toothless mammals, and you know toothless mammals have to get very soft food. This is the time to prepare yourself for that situation, because it is a very bad situation. If you come out of your usefulness to beg, then it would have been better. Like Jesus said, the betrayer, it would have been better if he was not born. It is therefore important to know when you come out, that very busy world of 8 to 5 with cheese. Are you prepared? What kind of preparations are you doing daily to face life after your usefulness goes down? Is what you did going to raise your usefulness? When I retired and started going home, because I had a shamba that I had completely forgotten about it. Uh, the first thing my clan told me, we want you to be our chair. And you see, I was used to order. I'm not used to, if the meeting is 2 o'clock, it should be 2 o'clock. But their 2 o'clock is 4 o'clock. You must note that majority of people, even you, even those, not you, even those who are closest relative by blood or whatever, they envy you. And it's the negative envy, not the positive one. It's negative. Most times it's negative. They want to look at you and say, is this the one who was? Not who is, who was. They want to pull you down. And I normally tell people, if you have a dairy cow and you don't have machines to milk, see, it is the hearts of those people. And they don't care. They can pull you down. They can add water to your milk. They don't care. After all, what they want is to get 2 liters. The only way, because you know how much the cow produces, is to add water. You take your milk somewhere, now it has water. Take it away. One of the most difficult things I found is working with the people who have never been to school. Because they want to pull you down to their level.
And beat your teeth.
Yes. So, like I normally tell people, I did not care about house girls myself. But one day, a female teacher at Mangu came and told me, now, my baby is sick, and my house girl has gone. So I want you to allow me 2 days. I look for a house girl. You know, that is something I had not thought about, how a house girl can affect mathematics teacher in class. I reluctantly said yes. 2 days, our house girl disappeared and left the board. And I was very shocked. I didn't know how to go about it. So I told the secretary, you leave Karaba, tell her to come in a quiet way. It's not an emergency, but it's a quiet day. And the house girl has gone. So the secretary volunteered very fast. She went to the house, telephoned my wife, and looked after Karaba. That was the only child that was there. See, 2 days I had no issue with the house girls. It was affected the hospital, it was affected my secretary, and I am no longer stable because I don't know how the kid is. So it's good to understand the environment. But when I'm talking about environment, there was one I was shocked in the coast. Mwalimu, najua shangazi amekufa. Okay, pole sana. I say pole sana. Wajua ni yeye alinisomesha. Nataka niende matanga. And the matanga became so obvious. Every excuse was matanga. Then I asked one person, how many times is your matanga? then I learned how the nations are. We are dealing with different backgrounds. We are different people. We have dealt with different tribes. So I don't know, when you reflect back on your work environment, you remember that. Me, I know the headship. The teachers are against you. The students are against you. The parents are against you because you're asking for fees. It becomes your fees, not the child's expenses. It is your. And you see, you will be discussed in every home. Every home, you will be discussed. So, for those of you who are ahead, that is one thing. Every day, you are discussed in a home. Every day. So, you don't know how to do it. Even when you go to public service. Because I normally tell people one thing I missed when I left Thika are school results. Because I forgot myself. I was a poor man. But when I left the school, the first thing, everything widened up. I met with the people, other than the teachers we always meet, the parents. I started now meeting with everybody. And that is what I learned, what it means to work in different environments. Where I am living today, those plots had been selling for 3 years earlier, but I only came to know about them when I came out, and I bought. At that time, we were buying them at 450. I got a Mwalimu loan, I got KCB loan, and all my savings, and I could not raise 450,000. That was the cost then. But if I had not left the school, I wouldn't have noted about it. What am I driving at? Try to understand, call it out of box, that after all, this will go away, this will come. And I always say this, though I am not very religious, but I am godly. I am not religious, but I am godly. Abraham, God could give him everything, but he gave him land. He never gave him goods. He even had forgotten to give him a child until Abraham sought for the same. So if you are working and you are still looking after your father's small piece, whom you share 7 sons and daughters, these days even daughters, buy a piece of land, no matter how small. The only thing I remember, Thika High, is when I was at Thika High, I was given a plot 10 by 10, and that's the only one I got free here at Jamhuri. I borrowed that 7,000 shillings to put up a store, which I sold for $500,000, 1.1 million. After I had used that 7, And that formed the basis on which I built the hotel on. So, land is a possession you must. Yours, not ours. If you ask me where my home is, I'll tell you it is Maki. If you ask me where I come from, I will say it is Kamonji. But I also have bought land there. There is nothing as beautiful, there is nothing as precious below the heavens than the earth. So when you hear mafuta mafuta, that's the language I hear these days. Mafuta mafuta. If it is genuine and you can afford, throw some little money there. Where?
Let me interrupt you a little. I thought you had asked for support team. Let's first of all give you a breather and then
No,
have a cup of tea.
that is good,
Before we...
but they have facilities to warm it.
It has already been done once.
They can still do it again.
It has already been done once.
Oh, you didn't remind me. You see, this is a moment which is very rare.
Your words of wisdom, you are able to direct us, you are able to advise us, you gave us the best in you. And it was in you, it was coming out so naturally. That is why we are saying, may God bless you because of that. Your mentorship. Otherwise, we would have gotten lost, as some of us are saying here. But we kept listening to you, and that is what happened. On the other hand, I also want to look at this is the book of Luke. In the book of Luke, there is a verse there that talks about the 10 lepers. Remember the 10 lepers that were healed by Jesus? And after they were healed, only one came back to say thank you. Mr. Karaba, this group represent the 1987 to 1990 group, represent that one leper who came back to tell Jesus, thank you. I know you have taught so many students, so many from Mangu, from Thika, Rodoro, Kejuado, all those places. You have met so many people in Jogo, in your work as a PD, Paranyeri, and wherever all those posts you have held. We want, or this group has felt it wise to be at least among those people that we can say it's just that 1% that came back to say a lot of thanks, and we want to say asante sana, and may God, Mr. Karaba, continue blessing you. When I told my children, because they are now in university, and I told them I'm coming, they said, make sure uchukue picha mzuri tuone huyu mzee mwenye mnakuwa mkitafuta all the time. They are even our own children wamekuingia. Yani umewaingia kwa system. They also want to see to know who this is. Otherwise, asanteni sana, and for the rest of us, I think we have learned a lot from Mwalimu here, and I have realized kumbe we needed this parade because he started from where he stopped. That time he was telling us for you to perform, and I remember one quote you used to say, and I keep advising boys when I'm teaching them: if you want to fail, get a girlfriend. That is what you used to tell us. And therefore, personally, I feared the girl so much. It was not until when I was at the university I realized you had lied.
Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. Heir of salvation, purchase of God, born of His Spirit, washed in His blood. is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Perfect submission, perfect delight, visions of rapture burst on my side, angels descending, bring from above, echoes of mercy, whispers of love. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Perfect submission, all is at rest. I in my Savior am happy and blessed, watching and waiting, looking above, filled with His goodness, lost in His love. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long.
So, Mwalimu, this group here came up with an idea of a plague. Uende ukahang hapo kwa fireplace. I'm just going to unwrap it. Sindio?
Yes, sir.
Ya kufungua vile tutaweza kuirap tena. So your son must be coming back for you. Ukiandika ni sawa. This is what we prepared for our principal. These are memorable quotes that were captured by your students from 1987 to 1990. So I would ask all of us to have the video icon. Nataka mkuje tumpatie. Then here you are. And maybe I can read one that only made me happy.
You can read all.
Okay.
Just read all.
So the first one. When you go home, don't carry books to decorate your room. When you do well, it is only your mother who would be happy with your performance. Don't make decisions when you are emotionally unstable. That one still applies. Then my favorite, the smooth avenue of I don't care, it's the miserable city of I wish I knew. Then this one was done with an Indian accent. I've told you before, and I'm telling you again, don't lose your hope. Nobody needs it. Then Bob was
Mine now.
discipline is obligatory. It is not optional. And then in relation to time is money, Mr. Karaba used to tell us, time is life. And then, when you go home, I should repeat that one. When you go home, don't be the he-goat of the village. So those are the memories with much appreciation. THS class of 1990.
Thank you.
So Mr. Kwekyan, and then these people, as you have heard, they're also doing well. They have put some in here. Ile daktari chai itampeleka out. Now by the grandchildren and we also, they have something to smile about. Asante. I'm very sure he has got something he would like to say. And by the way, others.
Let me just do this. For the help that you gave me on that day in January 2001, I carried a piece of wood for you. I'll give it to you. I'll try and assemble it so that you remember it. It's just a calendar. Yeah, it's a calendar and a few other things which I will explain, but you just attach it and it will just stand. It's got two pieces of wood which will just stand. And for the rest of us, I have a daughter who's going into university. She asked me to deliver all this to the mangas in my class. I'll demonstrate. It's a piece of wood, but it does some extraordinary things, such as so that when you're having your Zoom meeting, you don't have to do a lot of, yeah. And I told her the things we used to say, and she said, write them on this, so you will read what she has also, this is part of, she's a business girl. She's supposed to go to university, but she saved some money to make this for my classmates. So I'll leave that to the chairman. Yeah.
As we summarize, let us say that we are grateful to you, Mr. Karaba, for being an inspiration to all of us, and even to the ones who are not with us. We are really grateful for you to have found time to come and be with us and share what you have shared. You've shared with us. May God always remember you. May you always find favor in His eyes. You and your family, may you always be blessed. I'm meant to understand that some of us would wish to be taking their leave, and don't do that before we take a photo, and then you can leave at your pleasure. And should there be any other thing that you'd want us to learn from Mr. Karaba, I believe you still have a few more minutes for us. Those in the diaspora, you're missing a lot not being here, but all the same, you're sharing with us. Thank you very much. And I believe this we can recap this later, even at home, because we'd love to go through all that you've told us, because it's been quite instructional and instrumental. Thank you.
Ukuja hapa mbele unil kisha time.
The most important aspect to remember in making decisions about school system, education system, the most important thing to always remember is not to fix issues. It is to solve issues. What is the problem with the boarding schools? That is what we should get first. Otherwise, we shall be saying something today, then we realize we didn't have enough. So if anybody is advocating, and I'm not against the advocate, but the question is, what shall we be solving by dissolving schools, boarding sector especially? That is a decision that should be made by educated people, not schooled people. You know the difference? Because besides education, educated and schooled. That is what I would want to see. Put all the disadvantages here, put all the advantages here, and let us weigh them. I know one PS whom I wouldn't want to say, is he was a day all through. I can't remember him talking about the university. So let's look at what are the issues. We solve them, not fix them. I hope people will get the difference. Then finally, what I want to end up saying is, when it comes to opportunities, I want you to be hyenas. You know the story of a hyena and opportunities? Kindu kioneku, mwathani amurathime. I save the rest for